Having a gap between what you can technically endure versus what's emotionally possible is an overlooked version of room for error. Another is saving for retirement. We can look at history and see, for example, that the US stock market has returned an annual average of 6.8% under inflation since the 1970s. It's a reasonable first approximation to use that as an estimate of what to expect on your own diversified portfolio when saving for retirement. You can use those return assumptions to back into the amount of money you'll need to save each month to achieve your target nest egg. But what if future returns are lower? Or what if long-term history is a good estimate of the long-term future, but your target retirement date ends up falling in the middle of a brutal bear market like 2009? What if a future bear market scares you out of stocks and you end up missing a future bull market? So the returns you actually earn are less than the market average. What if you need to cash out your retirement accounts in your 30s to pay for a medical mishap? The answer to those what ifs is you won't be able to retire like you once predicted, which can be a disaster. The solution is simple. Use room for error when estimating your future returns. This is more art than science. For my own investments, which I'll describe more in chapter 20, I assume the future returns I learn in my lifetime will be 1 by 3/3 lower than the historic average. So I save more than I would if I assumed the future will resemble the past. It's my margin of safety. The future may be worse than 1 by third lower than the past, but no margin of safety offers a 100% guarantee. A 1/3 buffer is enough to allow me to sleep well at night. And if the future does resemble the past, I'll be presently surprised. The best way to achieve felicity is to aim low, says Charlie Munger. Wonderful. An important cousin of room for error is what I call optimism bias in risk taking, or Russian roulette should statistically work syndrome, an attachment to favorable odds when the downside is unacceptable in any circumstances. Nassim Taleb says you can be risk loving and yet completely averse to ruin, and indeed you should. The idea is that you have to take risk to go ahead, but no risk that can wipe you out is ever worth taking. The odds are in your favor when playing Russian roulette, but the downside is not worth the potential upside. There is no margin of safety that can compensate for the risk. Same with money. The odds of many lucrative things are in your favor. Real estate prices go up most years, and during most years you'll get a paycheck every other week. But if something has 95% odds of being right, the 5% odds of being wrong means you will almost certainly experience the downside at some point in your life. And if the cost of the downside is ruin, the upside the other 95% of the time likely isn't worth the risk, no matter how appealing it looks. Leverage is the devil here. Leverage, taking on debt to make your money go further, pushes routine risks into something capable of producing ruin. The danger is that rational optimism most of the time masks the odds of ruin some of the time. The result is we systematically underestimate risk. Housing prices fell 30% last decade. Few companies defaulted on their debt. That's capitalism. It happens, but those with high leverage had a double wipeout. Not only were they left broke, but being wiped out erased every opportunity to get back in the game at the very moment opportunity was ripe. A home worker wiped out in 2009 had no chance of taking advantage of cheap mortgage rates in 2010. Lehman Brothers had no chance of investing in cheap debt in 2009. They were done. To get around this, I think of my own money as a barbell. I take risks with one portion and am terrified with the other. This is not inconsistent, but the psychology of money would lead you to believe that it is. I just want to ensure I can remain standing long enough for my risks to pay off. You have to survive to succeed. To repeat a point we've made a few times in this book, the ability to do what you want, when you want, for as long as you want, has an infinite return on investment.